Pick a card. What struggle is leaving your life? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Psychic MD, and we're here to do another pick a card reading for you. For those of you new to my channel, welcome, welcome. And for those of you that are repeat offenders, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope everyone is doing well. Today we are going to be reading about the struggle that is ending in your life. This could be a struggle, a hardship, a person, a trait, maybe a combination thereof. We'll see. So what struggle is ending for you? I need 3 piles. The struggle that's ending for you, and pile number 1. It's always tea time. Eternity, endless moments, and repetition. Interesting. Pile number 2. Got all these jumpers. What's going on with you? Impossible things. Working through disbelief, imaginative leaps, and fresh experience. Oh, fresh perspectives. Pile number 2. And pile number 3. Shine bright like a candle. You will make it through this. So take a look at your options. I will leave a picture as per usual, and I'll see you at your pile. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to my channel. You chose It's Always Tea Time with eternity, endless moments, and repetition. So needless to say, this card right here is really depicting cycles. It's talking about cycles. It's talking about somebody who is just entranced with doing the same thing over and over again. And it's funny because I was thinking about this very thing today. It seems like we are just riveted and unconsciously doing the same thing over and over again. Now this person is just aware and totally fed up with it. I feel like she's even drumming her fingers on the table with a measure of impatience. And I think this really alludes to the fact that you might be feeling stuck in some sort of a cycle, or the struggle that is ending for you is a cycle that you've not been quite aware of, but that you will be shortly. That might be for one of 2 of you. For the most part, I feel like you guys are already aware of that. Now, you know, everything is positive and negative. I feel like it's 2 sides of the same coin kind of a thing. And the good part is, yeah, your boredom might be leaving soon, right? That's the struggle. I personally hate to get bored. I've often said that, you know, boring me is probably the worst thing that you could ever do to me. I just feel, I guess, insulted by being bored. I don't like boring conversations, boring tasks, things like that. And yet, you know, a lot of things get done. I don't know, boring tasks need to be done in order to kind of lead a structured life per se, you know, kind of like you pay your bills on time, same thing, or doing laundry on the same day, or at least, you know, a routine of once a week and things like that. So there is a measure of like structure to be had, and that in itself is victory. But I feel like you're completely fed up, and this could be about a job, or this could be about the cycle that you're stuck with in life in general. So let's look. Because all the cogs right here was the first thing that I noticed, and uncertainty. Choose who you will become. And this is about, yeah, being who you want to be, showing up how you want to show up, and having a say-so. I think this is a little bit like taking reality by storm in such a way. This is a little bit like integrating your childhood, I feel. Integrating your dreams from the past into who you currently are and what you want to become. So it's identifying what you dislike and moving on from there, and not feeling certain about how you're going to make that look in real life, right? Even these illustrations seem kind of dreamy and out there. Well, you know, only Grisel will call a gas mask dreamy, but you get the point. Anyways, clarifying that is never jam today. Promises that never come to be. Empty words. Not living in the now. Okay. Yeah, this is like telling a child, well, you can have that treat tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. So it's always tea time. Yeah, it's always like buckle down and work. It's always roll up your sleeves. It's always ponte, kind of like oomph, get yourself in there and get it done kind of a thing. And it seems like you're always, I feel like the goalpost is being moved over and over again. And that could look like many different ways, kind of like, well, if you achieve this one thing, then I'll be happy, or that maybe it's a relationship that you'll be together, or that you'll feel a sense of fulfillment, but there never is that sense of fulfillment. And that's the feeling that I'm getting right here. So your struggle, I feel like, is the doubt being removed as to who you are and how you want to show up, however way, shape, and form that is. And also not getting locked into things that are repetitious. And I feel like this is, I don't want to say this is being done to you, but I feel like you're in a cycle like that, and Spirit expects you to wake up. And indeed, there's great joy when you do wake up, because it's like somebody's paying attention. Yes, at last. So people around you are going to not feel so great when you buck the system, when you want to change things. It's perhaps even this is saying, well, it's always tea time. Can we just designate it for Tuesdays? And that would be your question. They're like, no, it's always tea time. And your retort could be like, well, what makes it special then? If it's always tea time, then tea time is just in fact not special. So I feel like this is gaining a different perspective on your perspective also. Okay. Let's have a look and see if we can get some clarifiers here. But yeah, I feel like you have looked around at life and felt like a redundancy. I feel like relationships are feeling stale. I'm not saying they are stale. I'm saying that they could use a little pizzazz. I feel like day in, day out, you are feeling like this is lackluster and you want something more. So let's gain a higher perspective, okay? Because I feel that statement. I hate doing the same thing over and over again. And I find myself doing that. Why? Because, work. So, higher perspective. Why has this been in your life as an obstacle, please? We'd like to know. The Ten of Pentacles. Well, first off, I'm going to say this has been in your life as an obstacle because I feel like, first of all, it was imitated through patterns through your family patterns. And if it wasn't necessarily something that was portrayed like they successfully did it, day in, day out, they kind of did the same thing, showed up for work, did what was expected to. And, and even feeling as if things weren't quite correct, they still showed up and did their thing and waited for the reward. I feel like this can have to do with that family template, and it can even not necessarily have to do with a successful family template, but a family that is always attempting, or that you're trained. For example, you have to go to college, you have to, go to work immediately, or you have to, earn a 4-year degree, whatever the case may be. So Ten of Pentacles, I feel like this is definitely handed down from generation to generation to generation. And the why it's been in your life as an obstacle is I feel like you're the one that is waking up or awakened. I feel like you're also, I heard just now that you've undergone a dark night of the soul, and maybe perhaps you're just kind of waking up to that fact, and maybe you've had a few. Now, it's funny because I just thought it was going to be one thing, like a one-time thing, a dark night of the soul, but that is not so. Yep. So you're here to break the cycle, okay? And in a way, I feel like this is also like generational curses. You're kind of like, I'm bored with that. I'm bored with that narrative. Why, for example, in my family, why is it that the women always raise the children and the men disappear, that kind of a thing? Or why is it that in the end you wind up just by yourself? Well, that's going to disappear. Things like that. Your repeated patterns that maybe you haven't like thoroughly explored or put two and two together are coming into sharp focus right now. And the reason being, again, is so that you can actually break those cycles, so that you can take heed. And that boredom in there within itself is designed to wake you up. Okay, what? Pile number 1, you've got the Sun. This is my favorite card, like out of all the decks. in every deck. Now look at her hair. Look at all the rays. Now your third eye is popping. I feel like you're definitely connected to the divine, to spirit, to the other side. I feel like there could be a dreamy quality. Like there's a deep connection right here with the sun and the moon, which is really interesting because I feel just moon energy right here. But there's a definite connection. It's like yin and yang and a balancing out of things. And I feel like from a higher perspective, this is transpiring so that you have the opportunity to wake up, to make changes, to actually go against the grain. I feel like your hair also could be kind of long or sometimes difficult to manage. That can resonate for some of you, obviously not all of you. And I definitely feel like you have some strong antennas to the other side, okay, to spirit. Because this to me is always a connection to spirit, is your hair. Now, with the moon right here, I feel like you could have like a dreamy like quality about you. But I feel like this signifies a lot of peace. I feel like there's been a lot of like rapid pace, a lot of obviously thoughtless actions and cogs moving together and set in motion. And almost like we're taking up somebody else's destiny as our own and then repeating that pattern. And when one ancestor or one family member doesn't finish it, it gets handed down to the next person to do the same until they wake up. And I feel like you, friend, pile number one, are the one that is waking up or has woken up, okay? Now, I'd like to get some words of wisdom from Spirit for you. The Four of Cups. Look, that's like, I don't want it, but I don't want it. And honestly, you could even be thinking, well, I don't want that. That's a lot of responsibility to go against the grain. But also it's a lot of responsibility to think that I'm the one that can break patterns and so on and so forth. Now, I had a friend tell me recently, and she's like, well, what makes me think that I'm so special if I'm a chosen one? Well, in the end, we're all chosen, but it just really depends on who is going to answer that call, right? So I feel like right here, this is depicting the Holy Grail, and we have the Tree of Life. And then there's a lot to be said with all these like gnarly roots. I almost see that as like going through the cup and some roots. So I feel like you could have had some really strong, intricate family root system that you're maybe even not totally aware of. I feel like if you were to dig in, you might find a lot of great mystery surrounding your family, people that were into different things. That's weird. Okay, this isn't for everybody, but for somebody, that would include bloodletting. Take that however you will. I don't know what that means. Excuse me. But I feel for other of you guys, I feel like the family line has kind of crossed over and maybe integrated. And you could have seen like family members, marry family members, like second removed cousins and things like that. I know that's not popular to talk about, speak on or whatever. But I think that if you start kind of going back and asking questions like this person met that person, how did that transpire, that you're going to get a lot of answers that are going to really shock you. And I think that that within itself is going to help you not only to unravel this whole thing, but to really make your own destiny and break out of this cycle, okay? So I feel like you're not happy there anyways, and there's a reason for that. So it may seem like mundane, like you're just bored with this job, doing the same thing over and over again, or you're bored with this task and maybe you don't want to do it anymore. But there definitely is a bigger meaning. And I know sometimes that could feel quite weighty on us. But I'd like some messages also from this deck for hello, the jumpers. For pile one, let's see what we got. We've got action, meaning I'm going to get in trouble for having this card. Pardon me. My bracelet's magnet picked up a metal thing on the table. That was kind of interesting. Anyways, so yeah, you could actually magnetize things to yourself without even knowing, but you're going to magnetize action to you. I'm going to hide that, like a little too late kind of a thing. But action, awaken the warrior woman or man within. And this is quick action. This is like, I mean, she's totally in the buff. And she has a cosmos in her hair. This is also alluding to the fact that our hair is a connection to the other side, actually. And it's regal. I mean, it's something that was once upon a time very important. I feel like as time goes on, we're going to start to see even more the importance of our own hair. So, yeah, action. Then we have energy, intensity, passion, and power, right? And I feel like there's even like a person right here. It's really hard to distinguish. I've never seen her before, but it's almost like this person's trying to harness the energy itself. Harvest. Okay. And there is a tunnel right here. And so you could even, be curious about the hidden tunnels of the world and things like that, the dumbs. But I also feel like even with this lightning strike, I feel like this looks a little bit like a lung. So there could be some like breathing issues or having to use some breath work in order to get through the day, in order to kind of push through any fears about breaking the mold and moving on from certain patterns. And also, I feel like this has something to do with nerves. So you could have a nerve problem, like be chronically nervous or chronically fatigued, chronic fatigue, things like that. And I feel also like potentially you might want to do some cord cutting, because I feel like this could be alluding to the fact that maybe some of you guys have some cord attachments that need to be cut, and that's why you feel constantly drained. So do some cord cutting, because maybe some people from your past or even present have really tethered their energy and linked it to you. That's what I'm getting from here, is trying to harness that energy. So that is what I have for you. I hope that that is making sense. If you're liking these kind of readings, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, much love to you. Namaste. Hi pal 2, welcome to my channel. My name is Grisel with Psychic MD. If you missed the intro, if you jumped right on into your reading, welcome, welcome. Regardless, hope that everyone is doing well. You chose impossible things. With the number 34, working through disbelief, imaginative leaps, and fresh perspective. So right away, I'm getting a download that many of you guys are actually awakening as well. And actually you could have a connection to pile number 1. I think that many of you guys are going through like the dark night of the soul. And with each realization, you're starting to look around to see what the heck is really real. I feel like some of you guys are finding out that even our food isn't really food, that it's really garbage, especially in the US. I feel like it's very difficult to distinguish what is real. Even this butterfly that's tethered to a horse. It's a butterfly wings on a rocking horse. It seems to be a little bit dreamy and a little bit out there. You could be having dreams that are vivid and kind of wild and leave you feeling disturbed. And I feel like that would be the very beginning of your change. So the struggle with impossible things and working through this belief, I feel like that means that the struggle is actually leaving you, that you're putting 2 and 2 together, whatever your disbelief is. So maybe you have recently discovered something and it has blown your mind and you've had a really hard time integrating that into your current life, whether this being like you found out a secret in the family and you're trying to figure out how you're supposed to move forward from this and how you would have never imagined that this was a thing. And now everybody knows it's a thing and you're having to come to terms with that. So I feel like that struggle is being overcome through you getting the messages that you need and through proof. I feel like proof. And having almost like a hangman perspective on things. I feel like you're going to, I feel like this is stepping into like the new world and the old world all at once. So you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of a thing. And you're still trying to look for proof in 3D signs on a 5D world, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like you could be even seeing symbols of like butterflies all around you, probably daily. And the more that you start noticing, especially after this reading, you're going to notice them more and more. They'll be on labels, they'll be on, I don't know, cereal boxes or in books or on TV, things like that. They'll be woven into a dress or a cushion. And you're starting to see them more and more. And that's your symbol that things are really changing. And a lot of little things add up to a really big thing that's going to change. But don't fear the impossible. Things seem to be really big, like a tall order right now. And that is exactly what is being worked through, and what is changing is that you won't be in disbelief anymore. You'll be able to settle through and settle into a new reality. And you'll be very much okay. In fact, more than okay. all must have prizes, trying to please everyone. Yeah. So perhaps this is stating that, okay, for somebody here, you've been attached to a narcissist, and this is a shared story, a shared lie, a shared narrative, and that is what is dissolving, that you're starting to see the truth behind that, you have actually bought into somebody's story that isn't true, and you're able to actually, with new eyes, look at things in a clear perspective, and you're washing away all of that nonsense in order for you to live a life that is authentically you, authentically yours, and way more peaceful. With the all must have prizes, I feel like you're giving up the notion, the idea, and the desire to want to please everyone, knowing that people's hunger is above and beyond what you could ever provide as far as trying to please them. Now, here is a healthy curiosity. I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure. I can't see this precipice, I think, of change and pause before action. Yeah, you're right in the middle of a change and a great adventure, okay? So beyond this door, right up through this dome, I feel like she's going to leave her little home and go on a great adventure. And I think this is going to take you to new places, and even physically, I feel like you could be moving to new places, seeing new things, meeting new people, and you have the cat right here, which tells me that you have a great ancestry line that is watching after you, watching over you, but great intuition as well. Okay, you could be somebody who loves poetry, loves reading, loves writing, loves to write in their diary, and that will help you. The struggle and what does it look like is follow the white rabbit. Curiosity meets opportunity. And I feel like the more open-minded that you are, even though some things are really, really difficult to swallow and difficult to really comprehend and admit, it's like leaving the lie or allowing your brain to kind of separate from something that you were taught since yay little and that everybody else still believes. That is a matter of time before you end all of that. And you'll be excited to follow things down the rabbit hole to see, hey, maybe people, I don't know, maybe there are cities underground. There was actually a city, I would say about a year ago, that was discovered underground, and they had sent some scientists in there to discover and take pictures. And it took, I don't know, some days before they returned with some photographs. And it's interesting how nothing else has been heard of that place. But there are many different things that are phenomenon that we're not really privy to. And I think you're going to take it upon yourself to go down those rabbit holes. And it's going to really make a lot of sense to you. So the impossible is actually going to be very possible. But with that, I think that you're going to shed a lot of fear. You're going to shed a lot of confusion. And you're going to shed a lot of feeling controlled is what I'm feeling from your group. So if that's what you're currently undergoing, and that sounds like your struggle, then hang in there because we're going to explore some more. So let's find out from a higher perspective why this has been an obstacle in your life. For pile 2. Let's take all the jumpers. We have the 7 of Pentacles. I feel like maybe perhaps a lot of you guys are very careful, very measured, very logical. I don't feel like you act on impulse. And I feel perhaps that all of this stuff is making you feel a little bit kind of crazy, a little bit wild, okay? I think that a lot of you guys are going to be counting the cost. And it's like, well, if I go down this rabbit hole, and if this is true, then what does that mean about this other stuff, you know? So in whatever measure this means to you. So I don't think that you do things lightly. And it might be a little bit more difficult for you, more difficult than other people to be able to kind of embrace something different. So I feel like you might be kind of like an earth sign, a little bit more grounded than the rest of us. I personally am a fire sign and not naturally very grounded. So Seven of Wands right here is defending your belief system, defending your ideas, defending what it is that you stand on, but being also on higher ground. So I feel like there's great freedom in this. I mean, she is throwing her arms out to the universe, almost like an open challenge, but also dancing with it. And I think that this might just get you excited. And I feel like with the light coming through here, a lot of light is going to be shown in different areas. It's not just your life, but a lot of light is being shown in different areas, and it's going to really illuminate your path, your footing, where it is that you're headed, how to step properly, and where to go. And I feel like personally, I would take this message as being very, very reassuring. That's really powerful. Then I have the Page of Wands. So this is happening in order to ignite a passion, in order to ignite a drive and excitement in you. I feel like with this card, I'm hearing the word innovation as well. I think that maybe sticking to a cookie cutter kind of a life as you've seen it so far being modeled isn't for you, and it's designed to stir something up that's going to be new and different and authentic. And I feel like this torch here, it almost looks to me like a phoenix being wrapped around the top of, the torch. So maybe this is resurrecting a passion or a dream that you felt like it was impossible from way back when. And I think that that's why it's happening for you. Okay. Ooh, the world. Yeah. It's happening for you also. This higher perspective is saying that it's happening for you in order for you to put an end to things that are no longer good for you. On things that you can create, that you can step through a new portal into a new life, into a new, I don't know, I heard dimension, but not a lot of people believe in that. And I'm just going to say that with the world, you have accomplished so much. And this is from Spirit, just an acknowledgement that you have done a lot of work, that you've done a lot of studies. We know that your mind is stretched a little bit like taffy sometimes, and that your brain is a little bit bent, maybe just looking at different sources of information, and it just seems unbelievable. And when you compare your life to maybe 5-10 years ago, it's unrecognizable, but there's more to come. And this world also tells me that you are here to create something way different, way better, and a lot more elevated. So the world is literally in your hands. So be careful about your thoughts and how you think, because you're currently co-creating and writing that world and what that looks like currently. And I think that that's what you're going to find really beautiful about this whole process, okay? Another thing that I'm hearing is definitely take time, pile number 2, to enjoy the process and try not to be so unnerved by everything. Words of wisdom from Spirit for pile 2. Joy. Your inner child is here to play, yeah. And that could mean a little bit about, this torch, something that was revived or trying to be revived from your childhood. And it's that sense of joy, that sense of play. Your inner child's here. And so go ahead and play. Maybe you like to watercolor. Maybe you enjoyed swimming. Maybe you thought you could communicate with the dolphins and not get in trouble for it. By the way, that's against the law. If you do some research, you're not supposed to try communicating with dolphins, which is wild. Why would that be? Anyways, so freedom. Yeah, spread your wings. You have freedom. You are going to have a higher perspective. Feel like you're going to be definitely connected to the moon, the different phases of the moon. Long legs. I definitely feel travel. With the world card, that is my travel card as well. And with the wings spread open, seeing different people, going different places and exploring things that you never ever thought you would actually be involved in. It sounds like a life full of adventure, honestly, which, this reading took me quite by surprise. So if you're liking that kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, much love to you, pile 2. Namaste. Hi, pile 3. My name is Griselle with Psychic MD. I'm here to do your reading. If you chose Shine Bright Like a Candle, this message is for you. If you're hearing snores, that is my fur baby companion. So you'll make it through this time. Obviously, the implication is that you're having a tough time. This, of course, reminds me of Van Gogh. and that silent scream that we see that person on screaming, which is interesting. You could be somebody who observes the skies and clouds. You could have a special interest in that sort of thing. I also heard that you might be concerned with chemtrails, and that might be part of what you're observing. That's what's standing out. The reason for the chemtrails. You might be looking at the clouds themselves and looking into HAARP and all of those things, the weather control system. Yeah, you could have a connection of pile 1 with uncertainty. Choose whom you will become. And this is almost like I get to paint by numbers. Do I have to paint by numbers, or can I just like freelance it? But I feel like with the card of uncertainty here, this is saying that you don't really know what that looks like. What does it look like if I were to freelance it? And that's part of the struggle. I feel like there's an expectation of maybe you needing to paint the sky a certain way, and even the reflection. But I feel like there's been some confusion, and things have been really, really tough. I'm hearing mental health could be a problem for some of you guys. There's no judgment here. I feel also like now this is coming across as like toxicity with the gas mask right here. So maybe, yeah, toxicity, well, the chemtrails and things like that. But you could also be around people who are very toxic verbally. Let me just kind of get a clarifier here. Growth, yeah. So I kind of jumped ahead right here, but this is why this is happening. And it's been presented in your life as an obstacle is in order for you to grow. I think that's really the answer for all three of them, all three piles. But growth, overcoming limitations. It's like, who said this is your limitation? You can acquiesce to that. You can agree to that. You can bow down to those rules or those expectations, even if they're silent contracts. Meaning that, you know, perhaps people in the family never said, oh, it needs to be this way, but everybody's always done it that way. And for you to break the mold, it would be pure shock. But that is what is being called upon right now in order to happen. So I feel like you've been insecure, not really knowing, not knowing your place. I feel like you've also been very, very quiet about your experience, about your observations, about what is going on in your mind with all the cogs working on top of her head symbolically right here. I almost feel like this is an hourglass. So it's been quite some time that you've been in a period of observation, looking at toxicity, being silent about it, observing, and really taking it in. The problem is that currently you're observing and absorbing, and that is not your final destination, okay? So again, Spirit is saying be careful, because we want you to grow from this, not to absorb it, but just to take it in and take a look and make decisions for yourself, okay? Got one more of these. Find the lesson. Discover the purpose in a situation. Trust that you are learning. And this is part of growth. Same, right? It's talking about growth. I love it when this happens. And look at the cat. This is almost like the Cheshire Cat. And this is Alice, the Wonderland Oracle. So there is that, basically. I don't think it's supposed to be a Cheshire Cat, even though it has the same smile, because I think they look different, but who knows. Anyways, you might have people, yeah, there's a lot of formality around you. So there's a lot of, I heard pompous, the word pompous. So people can have titles around you. People can have roles around you. And they get their self-esteem, their ego struck by those roles and those titles, okay? So I'm not saying that being the role of a professor is a bad thing, or being a role, for example, like a cafeteria worker or a student or somebody who's pursuing their PhDs. I mean, none of that is a bad thing. But when your ego is engaged and you start looking down upon other people because they don't do as you expect, then there's the problem with that. I feel like there might be gossip about this within your circle. Most of all, like I feel like family, a strong family thing, a little bit at work possibly, mostly family and school, if that fits. You could also have had somebody who exited this toxicity. It could be a family life again, like an older brother or something, and they actually just decided to take off and do their own thing. And that was maybe heavily gossiped about and frowned upon. And how dare anyone think that they could just leave like that, right? But I feel like that's part of the struggle, is that you are very much privy and aware to what happens to people that break the mold, break the codes, that don't adhere to the paint by numbers, that wind up doing their own thing. And it's a heavy price. I feel like you could stand to lose an entire community, whether it's just friends and family or just friends. I don't know how that looks like, but definitely there is a big loss that might be holding you back. And that is the big struggle, is living in silence, living with those limitations, seeing what other people have gone through, that they've been persecuted for having different outlandish ideas about how to live their lives and things like that. So you could be seen as the youngest child, or the quiet one, the one that the one that observes everything, though. And I feel like you're highly, highly underestimated, by the way. Pile number 3. Let's get a little bit of perspective as to why this has been in your life. I feel like it's caused you a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, and there's no one that you've been able to really express this to or talk to. But I feel like hang on tight. What I feel like is you're gaining your new community, and it will be well earned, okay? The 9 of Pentacles, yep. So this is you embarking on a journey, embracing yourself, your own gifts, having your own ideas about what is lavish. I mean, this person, okay, I don't know if you've seen, like, I think it's like the Mexican weddings where they pin all the dollars on the dress and things like that. But this has the same feeling and vibe to it. And she's got these beautiful sleeves. It's like a custom outfit. And she's walking around in her own garden, a garden that she made, that she planted, that she pruned herself. And I feel like this is just stating, you know, you're going to play by your own rules and decide what is beautiful, what is luxury, what is community to you. Is it a bunch of people that, you know, thumb their noses at other people? Is it a bunch of mean girls gathered around deciding that, you know, you can't be a part of this group because you don't dress the same as we do? Is it, you know, is it people that have a certain amount of money? And I think that you're going to be looking at all of those things. But in the end, you're going to decide to do things your own way. With the 9 of Pentacles, I think that you're taking things in and determining, you know, because of your level of pain, and it's like, wow, that didn't feel good. Well, that doesn't feel right. You're going to decide to step out and adhere to those belief systems, okay? I hope that makes sense. Zoom in here a little bit. Higher perspective as to why this is happening. I feel like you're designed to, it's like a twofold lesson here. It is for you to grow, to have more self-confidence, and it's going to take a lot of willpower to set out on your own, because I don't feel like you have any support. But also, it is a big lesson for these people as well. The Hermit, yeah. So you're going to be journeying a journey within, first of all. And I feel like you could be saying, well, hey, I'm already having a journey within because, you know, I'm an introvert type of a thing. I observe, not absorb. But yeah, you do absorb in this case. I feel like you're definitely going within once again. And you're going to, this looks like a salt shaker. Shake it like a salt shaker. Stop. Look, tell me it doesn't look like a salt shaker. Get out of here with that, okay? Anyways, that's a hermit's lamp. I will never see it differently from now on. And so you have retrieved what is sacred, what is important from the bag, maybe even like salt of the earth, okay? Because with the 9 of Pentacles, this is a lot of earth energy anyways. But you're going to be retrieving what is important. And I feel like fundamentally, those are your value system, the way you look at things. I feel like you're very earthy and not pompous. You're not ego-driven. And I think that you're going to be able to separate yourself from your own ego enough to be able to move on from this and pursue like real joy and real happiness and real community. I just saw 10-10. So you're going to have 2 major endings. And I feel like you're deciding these endings, by the way. You could be seeing 1010 everywhere, and that would just be a confirmation, and hang in there because you definitely do have your own community. It just needs to materialize a little bit more for you. And it will, the more you walk in this path or on this path, which is your path, whatever this path is. The Page of Wands here, yep, lighting you on fire and igniting you for a different purpose, having a real passion. Because I feel like this world that you're currently in right now, whatever it looks like to you, is very cold to you. And I don't feel like you're comfortable there, by the way. So, why has this been in your life as an obstacle? It's refining you, the 10 of Wands. It's been a big burden to bear, but I think that that's going to give you a lot more sympathy towards other people. It's going to make you a humanitarian, I heard. It's going to make you love people more because you're able to see that they've done things under duress, and you're able to have a very forgiving heart. I feel like you're going to be able to be a soft place where people can land, metaphorically, okay? I'm not saying you can invite everybody into your home. But I feel like you're going to be very gentle with people and be able to see their burdens because you yourself had not had it easy. And I feel like maybe a lot of you guys have had to kind of mature fast, a lot faster than your own age would indicate right here. With the 10 of Wands, this could be plotting, feeling like you have to put one step in front of the other, in front of the other. And the reason for that is that you are awakening to the fact that you're carrying other people's burdens. It is a burden. Even let's say you're a child in this community, let's say, or you were a child in this community, you're a young adult or whatever. And you're like, well, no, they do their own chores and they do their own thing. But it is still, I'm going to propose to you, heavy expectation to meet all of these roles that are cut out and set before you. So it's heavy to think that you have to kind of like look down on people and play the part and dress the part as well. It's almost like you're constantly in a masquerade where nobody is real. And that isn't at the core who you are. It's a very heavy burden. So I feel like you're laying down those burdens because with the 10 of Wands here, the whole point that this is put through into your life as an obstacle is for you to actually lay down your burdens and to say, this isn't for me. And it's not my responsibility. If you wrote a role in a script that I didn't sign up for, I didn't sign on the dotted line for this, then even because you think that it is my role and my screenplay or whatever the case may be, I haven't agreed to it. And that's the reason why this is presented in your life as an obstacle. Yes. Maybe you guys are having a hard time even speaking. Because all of a sudden my tongue got really heavy and I'm having a hard time speaking. But this is for the very reason, don't get scared, okay? But this very reason is in order for you to put to death things that just do not belong in your life. And I feel like you have a great sense of what that is. I feel like you will leave people actually quite shook and quite shocked. You, the quiet one, I heard nonverbal. Maybe you could have even been slow to speak, or you had a speech impediment or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. And you know what? Much love to you. I think that if that is you, by the way, this might be if you're just one person, then big ol' hug to you. People just are so cruel and rude, honestly. And sometimes that could be our own very family members. Temperance. I feel like you are gaining healing. You're going to be gaining perspective on this very soon. And the healing is going to come the more that you continue walking your walk, whatever that means to you. I feel like getting grounded is going to be very important. But no, actually, with these angel wings out here, that you actually have an angel that's shepherding you, that's helping you to find the right pavement, the right pathway for you to walk upon, okay? And it might be, with all this water, very emotional for you. And where the water meets, a little bit turbulent, but know that your emotions are not a sign of weakness. I'm going to say they're, in actuality, a sign of strength. I really struggle with this whole crying thing. Let's get the TMI, but a lot of people think that, crying is a sign of weakness. And I really struggle with like giving into my emotion. And then of course I'm going to have like I call it a meltdown where I wind up crying at the wrong time. Not that there's ever really a good time, but you know, private time is probably the best time. And I'll have like a facial leakage. I call it spring a leak from my face and just cry simply because I repress it and I stuff it. And the reason why I personally do it is because once upon a time it was, you know, frowned upon that I cry. I had a very abusive, let's say, father. Yeah. And so that wasn't a good thing for me to do because it was dangerous. Moving on from that. So you could have felt the same way. You could feel like giving into those emotions, it's dangerous, and it would just rise up a lot of tumultuous things that you don't even know what to do with. But I feel like that's just not true. If you just allow yourself to give in to your emotions, it is safe for you to cry. It is safe for you to have emotions. Everybody indeed has them, even though people often pretend that they do not. Okay? So those are my words of encouragement for you. Let me pull one last card. These are supposed to be short readings, but Lord have mercy. Here we are. One more card for pile 3. Out of all the piles, I feel like you had it really, really tough. Nature. Notice the harmony around you. Yeah, get back into nature. If you can, hug a tree, touch a tree. I do what I call catch and release. So I collect things like leaves and I don't know. For me, they're very beautiful, unusual. And I look at them and I use them in my videos and I do catch and release. So whatever your thing is, if you can go and garden, if you can, I don't know, depending on where you're at in the world, you can mow the lawn, whatever it is, or sit by a pond or a body of water. Nature is going to get you to feeling right once again, okay? It's going to make you feel whole and protected. And I feel like if you can do that by the next full moon, you will even feel better. Speak into the water what you want to take, what you want the water to take away from you, such as like fear, anxiety, doubt, being double-minded, second-guessing yourself, and things like that. You can actually program that and send it into the water or into the earth in order to be transmuted. But I do feel like you are going to be stunning people. Know that you have a lot of wisdom within you. And that is definitely given. It was given by your ancestry. It was handed down. I feel like you, of all people, have listened to the call. And so I am so grateful for you. Much love to you. And again, if you're liking these kind of reads, let me know. Give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. You could be seeing a lot of crows, a lot of ravens. And even roses could be symbolic specifically for you. So much love to you. Pile number 3. Until next time, namaste.